Woo! Okay, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. So this week EA Sports has dropped arguably the most information they've dropped since the actual announcing of the game. These announcements stretch as far as the toughest places to play, sights and sounds deep dive, we had top offenses and defenses, and we also had the official team rankings. And we're going to discuss every single thing that was revealed this week in this video. So stay tuned and let's get right into it. Now, alright, now I will admit some of these rankings that were revealed to us have been very controversial in my opinion. And so far what I've seen, I think a lot of people will agree with me that these rankings are kind of, you know, trash. But we're going to go in order of every single ranking that was released, and this was released day by day, and the first rankings were released on Monday, I believe, and the rankings were the toughest places to play. And this entire list was very controversial within the college football community. Like, I mean, just look at this list. They put Kyle Field as the toughest place to play in college football. What? I mean, listen, I know that the 12th man can get very loud in there, and they've won some pretty big games in that stadium as well. However, putting them at number one is very questionable, especially when you have, you know, Penn State up there. I mean, even schools like Clemson, like, I think that should be like a top 5. And I know I'm being very biased, but like, just look it up. We have like the second most false start penalties in the nation. So like, I don't know how they, you know, determined this list at all. All I gotta say is Kyle Field at number one is very crazy to me. I mean, hell, even Alabama being at number 2 is kind of crazy to me as well. I would definitely put LSU over Alabama, but that's a different topic for another day. And honestly, I just wanted to point this out. I'll also share the rest of the home field advantages here so y'all can like actually look at it and just, man, just look at these rankings. It's absolutely garbage. But you know, on the bright side, this should only last for the first year in dynasty mode or road to glory, so no one should have any worries about the rankings of the stadiums or whatever. Let's just, you know, move on. And she thought this ranking was bad, just wait and see all these other rankings that will be revealed in later in the video. But enough with these rankings, let's actually move on to the visual and presentation deep dive. And all right, here's the presentation deep dive. So I think this is the best presentation they've actually showed us since the actual reveal trailer. Just everything that was shown, like the sights, the sounds, and all the details about everything that they revealed is just amazing. And I just want to give props to EA for everything they showed us in this videos. But yeah, let's talk about the video.
We designed College Football 25 with a philosophy that every team is somebody's favorite.
Man, I just absolutely love this philosophy that EA Sports came up with. It really shows that they really care about the fan base of college football and how they're willing to put in like as much work as possible to make sure every single fan of every single team is satisfied with their work. I love that line by Kirk Herbstreit. So as we're looking at this trailer, we can see the various models and 3D renders that the EA office did to make sure everything looks very official for the traditions and the walkouts for each team. I heard that EA actually hired like stunt actors for these motion capture scenes for the traditions. Like we saw like the Georgia walkout with the banner. We saw like the Clemson Hill. Like they actually made a makeshift Clemson Hill just for the render. And honestly, I just appreciate the hard work that EA has done for just, you know, doing that. Like they're going the extra mile to make sure everything looks smooth and authentic. And also it was revealed that they've added pretty much everything that you can think of. Like they've added turnover traditions, they've added dynamic crowds, and I'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, they've pretty much added everything that you can possibly think of for college football and what you actually might see on an actual college football game day. But moving on, let's talk about the actual college football crowds. As mentioned before, we talked about dynamic crowds, and this is a long list of things that are actually added within the dynamic crowds category. So some crowds will actually be, you know, like checkered, like the Tennessee will be checkered, and we saw BYU actually have checkered crowds. And this is not going to be every week, but you know, every now and then a crowd will actually be designed for each specific game. You know, Penn State having a whiteout won't be in every single game, but it'll probably be for like a big game. Like let's say you have Ohio State scheduled, or if you go into custom schedule, you have like Alabama first week for like a night game, that will most likely be a whiteout game. In the presentation, we saw Georgia wearing black uniforms, and the crowd actually corresponded with a whole blackout. It looks absolutely amazing. I actually wanted this feature to be in. I'm not sure which video I said this in, but like I just remember me saying that I really wanted this in the game, and it's actually in the game, and I really love this feature. I think it's gonna look sick. However, the dynamic crowds also goes a very long way. With the article that was posted with the YouTube video, it states that one of the developers was using FIU as a dynasty, and at the beginning of the season the crowds were, you know, it was scarce in the stadium and there wasn't that many people attending the games. However, once they were actually 7-0, the crowd was actually coming to the games and they were actually being ranked as the toughest places to play. So So that is going to be so sick to see, and I really can't wait to see this feature. I also see EA has implemented all the hand signals and all the chants for the crowds. Of course, we'll see the chop, you know, the Florida State chop or whatever. I'm sure we'll see the horns up. However, we won't see the horns down. That was confirmed, but we'll see many other chants and a whole list. I'll show it right here on the screen. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out as well. And also, the crowds will also correspond with the weather as well. So if it's snowing, people will have, you know, hats on, coats on. If it's raining, you know, people will have, like, you know, the poach jackets on. They'll have, you know, jackets, umbrellas, etc. So yeah, that's going to be very, very cool to see. Dynamic crowds is coming, and I really can't wait to see this feature. And all right, let's talk about the stadiums and the stadium audio. So EA has sent many graphic designers to the actual stadiums so they can officially render as much as they possibly can for the game. You know, they've actually sent people to Clemson, they sent people to Ohio State, they sent people to many other stadiums around the nation just so they can get every single pinpoint detail about every stadium. And for the schools that didn't actually have a graphic designer sent to them, they have literally sent thousands of photos of every single stadium outlook you can possibly think of. There's over 150 stadiums in College Football 25, I believe, and every single one of these stadiums is going to be as much detail as they possibly can. And this is the most stadiums I've ever been in an actual game itself. You know, of course, the NFL stadiums for the bowl games are going to be in the game. All the new stadiums as well, like, you know, Sam Houston State Stadium and all the other new stadium renders are coming into the game. That's going to be very, very cool to see. And, you know, I just can't wait for this feature. And all right, for the audio, so we talked about EA sending graphic designers for the stadium, but they've also sent people to big games so they can capture the audio for the game. They talked about they went to the Alabama LSU game last year when they went into overtime. That was captured on audio, and they got every single audio for that game. And they also captured many other big games for the past 3 years so they can use that audio for the game. And of course, they also recreated the Mo Bamba clip from Penn State, from the Penn State Wido a couple years back. Here's the clip. And man, just look at this clip. It just looks fantastic. I don't know how many times I've said fantastic with all the videos I've done about this game. I'm just trying to show you guys that I'm excited, and as well as many other people that are also excited for this game. It's just another one of those features that you're going to be excited to see in the game. Arguably every single chant you can think of. Like, you know, they got the "We Are Penn State" in the game. They showed in the actual presentation deep dive of UCS kickoff chant that they do. I'll play it right here.
The conditions and custom chants.
And yeah, and a bunch of other things that you will probably hear in the game. And I just can't wait to see all these features in the game. And honestly, that's pretty much all I have for the presentation deep dive. And I just want to give a quick shout out to EA for, you know, just the amazing work and the amazing job they've done to actually show us the presentation of the game. And all right, time for the most controversial part of this entire week, the actual team rankings. All right, so the first ratings we're going to look at is the offenses for College Football 25. And geez, honestly, there's a couple things wrong with this entire list. First of all, where is Ole Miss? I'm surprised Ole Miss is not a top 10 offense and Clemson actually is. And I'm saying that as a Clemson fan. Like, I honestly don't think we're a top 10 offense. That's just me personally, but I don't think we're top 10. And Colorado, why is Colorado number 8? You know, I get that they have Shador and they also have Travis Hunter, but like, other than those two, like, who's really on that offense that deserves the number 8 spot? And same thing with Miami. Like, I guess they got Cam Ward from Washington State, and he's actually a dog, but like, number 7 though, it's kind of iffy. But yeah, other than that, I think these rankings are fine. You know, I heard a lot of Tennessee fans were complaining about them not being in the rankings, and I don't even think they're a top 25. Correct me, I'm going to correct myself if I'm wrong, but you know, I'll show the entire list right here. Other than, you know, the couple things I said before, I don't think they're that bad. I think the top 5 is pretty accurate. Yeah, I honestly wouldn't change anything in the top 5. I think that's damn near perfect for the top 5. But other than that, all the other rankings are kind of iffy. Like I said, I was surprised Ole Miss is not a top 10, and I'm surprised that Clemson, Colorado, and Miami are. Other than that, that's all I have for the rankings, and I think they're fine. All right, coming in next, we have the top 10 defenses and the overall defensive ratings. For the top 5, I don't really think there's that much of a problem, but you know, I think Michigan's defense is going to be nice, and honestly, I think they're better than Clemson and Notre Dame's defense. Maybe on the same level, if a bit less than Oregon. Yeah, I'm gonna say a bit less and Oregon's defense. But yeah, I honestly don't have really that much of a complaint for the top 10 ratings for the defenses, but you know, a lot of people did. Even for the offense, a lot of people had a lot of controversial things to say about these ratings. What I gotta say is that all these ratings are subject to change. I've heard they're going to do a different rating right before week 1, and it's going to update as the season goes on. You know, it's just a preseason rating, and honestly, I guarantee none of these teams will be in the same position as they are by the end of the season. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out. Honestly, I don't have anything wrong with the top 10 defenses in my opinion. I'm gonna show the rest of the top 25 right here on the screen so you guys can actually see a look, and I'm also going to show my opinions about all the ones that I think is a bad rating. But other than that, yeah, here's the top 10 defenses, and yeah. And all right, lastly, here are the overall team ratings. Like I said, I don't agree with most of the ratings that were shown here in the presentations and what has been revealed to us. 5 to 1, I think it's pretty fine. Other than that, starting from the bottom all the way down to 25, you know, there are a lot of teams that were just, you know, miscalculated in my opinion. But that's just my personal opinion, and I know a lot of other people have their opinions about which team should be a higher overall and which team should be lower. I don't really agree with some of the ratings, and I think some of them are actually pretty bad in my opinion. But yeah, that pretty much sums up all the ratings and everything that's been revealed this week. And man, what a week it has been for EA College Football 25. We got many team ratings, we had offensive ratings, defensive ratings, and we finally got the visual and audio presentation for the game, and it looks fantastic. If you made it this far in the video, I just want to thank you guys for actually watching. I would really appreciate if you guys like and subscribe so you can let me know that you guys actually like this kind of content. We're very close to 600 subscribers, and I'm trying to reach 1,000 by the end of the year. And I just want to thank you guys for all the support and all the appreciation, and I just want to thank you guys for everything you've done for the channel. And yeah, that's all I really have for you guys. I really hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time.